Most people think this world belongs to humanity. We built the cities. We mapped the oceans. We sent machines to the edge of the solar system. As far as we're concerned, this planet is ours. But according to the Quran, we are wrong. There is another race living alongside us right now. They walk the same earth. They breathe the same air. They inhabit the same spaces. And the vast majority of humanity has absolutely no idea they're there. They were here before us. They will be here after us. And their story is one of the most fascinating and most misunderstood in all of Islamic theology. Their name is the Jinn, and what Islam actually teaches about them is nothing like what you've seen in movies, video games, or folklore. The real picture is far more complex, far more sobering, and honestly far more interesting than any fictional version ever created. So in this video, we're going to answer 5 questions that will completely reframe how you understand the world you live in. What are the Jinn made of? Where do they come from? What do they want? Can they actually interact with humans? And most importantly, what does their existence mean for you personally right now? Let's go. Before we get into the Jinn themselves, we need to establish something important, because most people come to this topic with a head full of cultural baggage. Aladdin's lamp, genies granting wishes, horror movie demons crawling out of wells. None of that is Islam. The Islamic understanding of the Jinn is grounded entirely in the Quran and the authentic Hadith, and what those sources describe is something far more theologically rich and far more personally relevant than any fairy tale. So let's clear the slate and start from the beginning. The Quran tells us that Allah created 3 categories of conscious beings capable of moral choice: the angels, the humans, and the Jinn. Each was created from a different substance. Angels were created from light, humans were created from clay, and the Jinn? They were created from smokeless fire. Now, that phrase, smokeless fire, is important, because it tells us something about the nature of the Jinn that most people miss entirely. They are not physical in the way we are physical. They are something in between, a form of creation that exists at the intersection of the visible and the invisible. And here is the first thing that should blow your mind. The Jinn were created before humans. Long before Adam drew his first breath, the Jinn were already here, already living on this earth, already making choices, already rising and falling and building civilizations of their own. Now the Quran dedicates an entire chapter to the Jinn, Surah Al-Jinn, chapter 72. And it opens with something remarkable. A group of Jinn hear the Quran being recited, and their response is extraordinary. Say it has been revealed to me that a group of the Jinn listened and said, "Indeed, we have heard a wondrous Quran. It guides to the right course, and we have believed in it." Read that again? A group of non-human beings heard the words of Allah and immediately recognized their truth. They believed. They submitted. They went back to their own people as preachers. These are not mindless demons or wish-granting genies. These are conscious moral agents with the full capacity for faith, reason, and submission to God. First, the Jinn are invisible to us under normal circumstances. They can see us, but we cannot see them. Allah specifically mentions this in Surah Al-Araf. He and his tribe see you from where you cannot see them. Second, the Jinn have the ability to take on physical forms. Various narrations describe Jinn appearing as animals, as humans, as shadows. Third, the Jinn are bound by the same fundamental test as humans. They have free will. They will face judgment. They will either enter paradise or be cast into hellfire. Within the world of the Jinn, there is a hierarchy. There are the general Jinn, invisible beings of smokeless fire living alongside humanity. Then there are the Amir, the inhabitants Jinn who take up residence in human homes. Then there are the Shayateen, the devils among the Jinn, actively hostile to humanity. And at the top of the hostile hierarchy is Iblis himself, the original Shaitan. Now here is where the topic gets deeply practical. The most common form of Jinn interaction with humans, the one that happens every single day to every single person on earth, is waswaza, the whisper. The Shayateen among the Jinn are assigned to human beings, and their primary method of operation is the internal whisper. Every human being is accompanied by a qareen, a companion jinn assigned specifically to them. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, mentioned that even he had a qareen, but that Allah had helped him against his until it submitted. The question of possession is one that Islamic scholars have debated extensively. The mainstream position held by scholars like Ibn Taymiyyah is that yes, this is possible. However, Islamic theology is very clear that this kind of influence is not unlimited, and the prescribed response is not fear. It is Quran, it is dua, it is ruqya. Let's talk about Sulaiman, because the story of Prophet Sulaiman is perhaps the most stunning example of jinn interaction in all of the Quran. Allah gave Sulaiman a gift that no human before or after has ever been given: complete authority over the jinn. Not some of them, all of them. The Quran describes armies of jinn working under Sulaiman's command, building magnificent structures, diving into the sea, carrying the throne of the Queen of Sheba from Yemen to Jerusalem faster than the blink of an eye. One of the jinn said, "I will bring it to you before your glance returns to you." And he did. The message is, not be afraid of the jinn. The message is, be close to the one who holds authority over everything, including the jinn. Bismillah before entering your home, Bismillah before eating, Ayat al-Kursi before sleeping, Surah al-Baqarah recited in the home drives the shayateen out. These are not superstitions. They are a protection system given by the Prophet specifically because the threat is real and the protection is real. Before the revelation of the Quran, the jinn had the ability to ascend toward the heavens and eavesdrop on the conversations of the angels. But when the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was sent, everything changed. The heavens were sealed off. The jinn found the pathways blocked by meteors of burning light. The age of the fortune teller was over. The age of the final revelation had begun. The existence of the jinn is not meant to make you paranoid. What the jinn teaches you is this: the world is bigger than what your eyes can see. There are forces at work in your life beyond the physical, and the only reliable protection from those forces is closeness to the one who created them. Every time you say, Bismillah, you are activating a protection that the jinn cannot penetrate. You are not helpless in a world full of invisible enemies. You are equipped. You are protected. But only if you use the tools you have been given. The jinn are real. They share this world with us. Some of them are Muslim, some of them are not. But at the end of time, the jinn will stand before Allah just like we will. They will be judged just like we will. The God who created both of us is sovereign over all of it. And that, if you let it, should be the most comforting thought you carry with you today. If you want to go deeper, we just made a video on Iblis, the original jinn who refused to bow before Adam. And if this video gave you something to think about, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. We will see you in the next one.